Türk-Amerikan ilişkileri son yıllarda pek çok iniş ve çıkışıyla konuştuğumuz ilişkilerdi. Özellikle bölgedeki dinamikler, küresel gelişmeler ışığında. Ama bir stratejik mekanizmanın tam anlamıyla belki yeni bir sayfa için hayata geçtiğini görüyoruz. Tam da ilişkiler bu noktadayken önemli bir ismi ağırlıyoruz. Amerika Birleşik Devletleri İstanbul Başkonsolosu Eadeh. Madam Consul General, thank you very much for joining us at Habertürk. It's a great pleasure to host you.
Senacığım, çok teşekkür ederim ve Ramazan ayınız mübarek olsun.
Çok teşekkür ederiz. Çok sağ olunuz. This month is also Women's History Month in the United States.
Yes.
And we also celebrated the International Women's Day on 8th of March. So as two women holding this interview, I'm in media, you're in diplomacy. Let's begin with women's place in business life because it's kind of a primary reason that we are here together. So can you tell us, Madam Consul General, how is to be women in diplomacy?
Thank you. That's a great question, and I'm so happy to be with you. It's such an important month. Of course, like you, I'm very committed to supporting women in diplomacy, supporting women here in Turkey and also in the United States. We at the U.S. mission in Turkey are doing so much to invest in women. As America's top representative in Istanbul, it is such a great honor for me as a woman to lead our mission here in this dynamic and incredible city. As a woman in diplomacy, you know, diplomacy has not always been a great place for women. In fact, until 1972 in the U.S. Foreign Service, women who married had to resign their commission. But we've come such a long way. We have had some really inspirational women leaders at the State Department, including Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. Of course, we have our ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield. So it's really wonderful to see the progress that we've made and the progress that we continue to make. I'm very proud that 50% of my team at the consulate are women, and so many of my leadership team are as well. And I think as a woman in diplomacy, as a woman in media, it is so important that we lift.
What are some of the challenges that you face during your career path? Is there any glass ceiling above you that you have experienced during your time as a diplomat?
Well, as I said, I stand before you today as a female consul general in Europe's largest city. This is one of our largest diplomatic missions around the world. So I like to think that what we are doing here, what my team and I are doing here is really incredible. And as I said, there are so many incredible women who came before me and really doing what we can to invest in the women that are coming after.
It's like putting bricks on each other, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Is there any projects or programs between Turkey and the United States when it comes to the empowering women in business life? If so, can you tell us more about it?
Sure. We, as I said, we are continuously investing in women here in Turkey. It's really a core pillar of our outreach and our diplomacy. The mission has really focused on so many different areas where we are investing in women through entrepreneurship, education, training, cultural and educational exchanges. But if I may, I'd like to highlight a couple of the projects, specific projects that we've done. Of course, this is Women's History Month, and we just celebrated International Women's Day. But on the occasion of the Title IX anniversary in Turkey and the recognition of the incredible women here in Turkey, we are really doing a lot on sports diplomacy. We at the consulate partnered with the NGO Kızlar Sahada and about empowering young girls in sports. We are very, very proud to have submitted for the 18th Secretary's International Women of Courage Award, Eadeh Erdem. We submitted her for her pioneering work in really excellent work in sports diplomacy. Ambassador Flake and I will be hosting a reception in her honor later this month as well. And just on a personal note, I'm a diplomat, of course, but I grew up with a disability that I didn't let stop me from engaging in sports. Ambassador Flake and I and team members from our mission contributed in the Bosphorus swim this past summer.
You both?
We both did.
Wow,
so,
great.
So sports is really something that teaches young girls teamwork, how to overcome challenges, and how to really strive for something more. And I think that investing in young girls has been a great thing. Another area that we have really focused on investing in young women has been in cybersecurity, actually. Cybersecurity is an area where women and young girls are underrepresented. So we just recently concluded a program called She for Cyber, which we did with Kadir Has University. We trained about 120 young girls in the area of cybersecurity and cyber awareness. And of course, another big project, last year after the earthquake, the Development Finance Corporation, DFC, gave a loan of $100 million to Sheker Bank to provide loans to individuals in earthquake recovery efforts. And to date, $45 million of those loans have been dispersed to about 2,000 women who are engaged in entrepreneurship projects. And it's really great, of course, that Sheker Bank has as its CEO a woman who's very engaged, Aybala Şimşek, who's really engaged in providing opportunities for women. So we are very, very committed and engaged with the women in Turkey to really empower, because we believe that women having a seat at the table, better society, creates more economic opportunity and stability.
It's good to hear that both countries are focusing on the women and how to develop and empower women in society. On the economic front, Madam Consul General, there is 100 billion trade volume. And
a long-term one, but we have really made tremendous strides, with bilateral trade in goods and services exceeding $40 billion already. So I would say that we are very well on our way. And this is an area where we continue to grow and we continue to invest, bringing our people together for those business and trade opportunities.
It's good. We've heard many organizations and events such as Select USA, Trade Wins. What kind of effects they have on?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, because I'm really excited about both of these projects. I'll start with Trade Wins. Trade Wins will be held here in Istanbul, May 13th through 15th. And Trade Wins is the Department of Commerce's largest trade mission around the world. It's very fitting and recognition of the importance of Istanbul as a global hub, a center of business and commerce, a driver of the economy, that it's going to be held here, because the very first Trade Wins was held in Istanbul in 2008. We have about 120 to 140 American companies who are going to come on this trade delegation, and have already set up more than 40 direct business-to-business meetings. So we are really hoping that these opportunities and these meetings will result, of course, in more foreign direct investment into Turkey to maintain and grow that bilateral trade.
Is it premature to ask and talk about the free trade agreement between the United States and Turkey?
No, not at all. I didn't mention the Select USA, of course, which I'm very excited to lead. I will be leading the delegation from Turkey to Maryland this summer. And we have a number of companies who have already signed up. We're hoping for a very robust delegation where they will go to the United States and meet with partners to learn about investment opportunities in the U.S. The trade relationship is so vitally important to our two countries, and the Trade and Investment Framework Agreement is really important. We're looking to resume those talks for the first time since 2017, later this year. So I think it is really a great opportunity for us to continue the dialogue on these very important issues.
We have Russia-Ukraine war in the north. We have Israeli attacks on Gaza in the south. And there is a the United States, which is under harsh criticism by developing countries and regional allies. Because on the one side, it's directly aiding militarily to Israel, while on the other side, it's just sending humanitarian aids to Gaza. And there is President Biden is just describing the United States as essential nation, but the developing countries and in this region, the U.S. is under harsh criticism. When we look at the Syria, we have CYPG, PYD issues between Turkey and the United States. So in such critical moment, in such critical juncture of the relations, we have seen both countries decided to uphold the strategic mechanism. How both countries can use this mechanism to solve these regional crises?
Well, you're absolutely right. The world is really facing so many challenges in so many different areas, and Turkey has been such a vital and important ally to NATO, to the United States. And as you rightfully note, we are so pleased that Secretary Blinken and Foreign Minister Fidan met in Washington earlier this month and had a wide variety of meetings, bilateral meetings, as well as breakout groups on so many of these issues that you raise. And they both really, the leaders of both of our countries have reaffirmed their commitment to dialogue, positive dialogue with a forward-looking agenda on regional stability, on economic growth, on countering terrorism, on energy, and of course growing our people-to-people ties. So I think it is so positive and hopeful that our two nations are really committed to working on these very tough challenges together because we are critical allies and partners.
And we have F-16 jets issued for a long time, but it seems that we solved that issue, Turkey and the United States. When will Turkey get F-16 jets? And is there any possibility of a cooperation when it comes to the modernization of F-16 jets?
Sure. We're really excited that the F-16 sale has been finalized. I don't have a specific timeline on when they will be delivered, of course, but it's really such an important step in the relationship. President Biden has been very clear from the beginning that the modernization of Turkey's fleet is vitally important, and he has always supported it. The F-16 sale includes 40 new jets and the modernization of 79. And this, as Ambassador Flake has said, as the President has said, this really goes a long way to ensuring interoperability in critical NATO missions. So we could not be more pleased.
Is it possible to say Turkey has returned to the F-35 jets program?
I know this question comes up quite a bit. There are still some issues that our two countries are, of course, need to resolve before we can have further discussions on the F-35 program.
Madam Consul General, thank you very much for joining us at Habertürk. Great to host you. Değerli izleyenler, Amerika Birleşik Devletleri İstanbul Başkonsolosluğu Eadeh konuğumuzdu. Pek çok başlık var ikili ilişkilerde, ekonomiden bölgesel gelişmelere ve savunma işbirliklerine kadar bunları sorduk, yanıtları aktardık ve elbette kadınlar ve kadının iş hayatındaki yeri, buna ilişkin de değerlendirmelerini aldık. Özel röportajı noktalayalım. İyi günler dileyelim.